no, I mean the big lion thing.
Yeah.
That's what Arcanine's based off of, and that's an old ancient.
Mate, Arcanine just looks like a dog. Let's just
okay.
stop this conversation. I'm right, you're wrong. Like, so, literally, all of the animals, they just look like Pokemon. I was expecting Wong to come out of like the fucking portal with a fucking Ash Ketchum's hat on, with like just chucking Pokeballs at them. And I was just like, wow, we entered Detective Pikachu 2 earlier than I thought, and I thought, you know, Ryan Reynolds would be voicing Pikachu in this one. So Shang-Chi's a movie.
It happened. We went and saw it.
Shang-Chi's a film.
Like it's a Marvel. It's a movie.
And I think it started off pretty well.
I think it held that good start a longer period of time than Widow did. Because as you said, Widow starts off very strong and then just it kind of did the same thing. Turned into I can't believe it being it's weird using it in a negative sense, but it turned into a Marvel movie. A bit too much.
Had some similarities from the last time we were at the cinema, starting off with some exposition narration from a character that is introduced later on.
Yeah.
So, you know, Disney being Disney, I guess.
Oh yeah, I didn't think. Yeah,
I was just like, oh, another film where I'm being explained the backstory over narration. Not necessarily like a terrible thing, but I was just I don't know. Let's move away from that. He says, being overly critical of something he's seen, you know, twice. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it's happening all the time. It's well, it happened actually twice in a row.
The problem
that's not a lot.
It kind of sums up, I feel like, how we feel at the moment. We've now seen 2, and it's concerning.
Yeah. So going back to its connotations with Black Widow rather than its connotations with Jungle Cruise, which is what I was referencing just then. I mean, I don't. Let's maybe talk about other reviews first.
Okay.
Because I don't understand how it got such high reviews elsewhere.
Yeah. Spoilers
on the fact that, you know, that you might interpret that as obviously this is not going to be all's well that ends well at the end of this, but I think I was looking around at certain review scores, and I was just thinking to myself, after we came out of the cinema last night, I just did think to myself, like, why the fuck you lying? And I was just like a little bit like, I was like, come on guys, like an 8, like that's high, you know?
It's in
a 4 out of 5. That's outrageous.
I've seen it in like lists of Marvel movies and stuff, and it's like, best Marvel movie yet, blah blah. But then I remember actually seeing the same thing about Black Widow.
Jesus.
But in hindsight,
92 on Rotten Tomatoes.
No. I've not trusted Rotten Tomatoes for a while. They sold out a few years ago. I don't even know who to trust anymore, to be honest, when it comes to those ratings.
Who can you trust? The only people you can trust is us. So, you know, if you're listening, you've made the right decision as where to come to about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Shang-Chi.
Which is what we're talking about today. I haven't even done an introduction, so that's the introduction for the film.
Yeah.
Welcome, Sam Mills. I'm Liam Reedy. Serious Podcast.
Serious Podcast. Serious Podcast.
Serious Podcast.
This is the...
I feel like that's our tag.
This is the first time I think I've spotted the beginning of this podcast. Right. So I'm kind of a little bit internally proud of myself right then. Oh. So I've managed to get past your we're talking, and then suddenly, I realise we're like 5 minutes into the podcast, so I'm quite happy with that. Just a little pat on the back for me there.
I mean, pat yourself on the back, but I did audibly say that this is the beginning, so for you to not notice would have been...
Hey.
I think I would have checked on your...
Let's just take this away from me, okay?
Okay.
I did it. The next step is I do it without you saying that. Baby steps.
Baby steps. The beginning of the movie sets up the villain pretty well. It's it's on purpose ambiguous about where these 10 rings, these MacGuffin gloves, kind of come from, because they do a bit of a throwaway line. Sorry, if I can get my words out. Where they're like, were they stolen from a tomb, or were they discovered under the sea? And it's kind of like, look, don't look too far into it.
Yeah.
It's just like the 10 rings exist, and we're just going to scoot over, how they came into existence and how Shang-Chi's father came into possession of them.
It was just literally it's been thousands of years.
Get over it.
There's been stories. Let's go from there.
Yeah. So we're just, for the sake of my sanity, and actually because he's credited as this online, I'm going to just call Shang-Chi's father and the villain the Mandarin.
Yes.
Even though we'll get to the part where he's not the Mandarin, but we'll get, he, in all tense and in all pretense, he is the Mandarin from the comics, which is one of the larger kind of villains for Iron Man.
Iron Man, I believe a little bit Doctor Strange, because of the magical crossover. But genuinely, I've always understood him to be Iron Man, and that's a little bit just good growing up with the cartoon and that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we're gonna go with the antagonist being the Mandarin, just for ease, because I can't remember the actual character's name.
I don't know if they say it too much, because most of the time they're calling him Dad.
Yes.
So there's very little. I don't think they actually say his name that much. I'm sure they say a lot of their names as well, but I'm terrible at names with that.
So they go through a bit of a montage setting up this narrative, as we said before, with the narration, and that was kind of cool. It was just starting actiony. You could get the sense that he might at this point just be generic villain, number 6 for the MCU, number 9 or number 12, 25. Take your pick, take a number. Loki reference.
Yeah.
And I think over the course of the film, the development of the Mandarin's character gets better, and then gets worse.
It's one of the positives, but then that sort of makes it a negative.
It's so hard to kind of it's hard to explain in a phrase, in a sentence, what happens to certain characters.
Yeah.
Hence why we've got...
Well, it's a good jump while we're on the first bit as well. There is, what I liked about it is they have, especially in the beginning, and it's just what they keep leaning in and leaning out of it. I was expecting, especially from the trailer and stuff like that, I was expecting to go along to the Marvel Chinese martial arts movie. Which I love those movies.
Yeah,
I've grown up with those movies. I think there was a period of my life where I exclusively watched Jackie Chan and Jet Li. A good few years. Yeah, but didn't really watch other movies. You just
watch the action.
Is Jackie Chan in it? Yeah. Is Jet Li in it? Yeah, I'm in. I'm like, obviously they're more modern. They're not necessarily old Chinese cinema stuff. Then obviously Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon happened, and that was an eye opener in itself, from a young kid. But this kind of, it's there, and there's a little bit, even in the opening bit, it's just a kind of like, okay, I'm getting this kind of like the visuals and everything like that, and it's sort of that. But then it just wasn't enough, and they just kind of keep. It's like they go, look, some Chinese cinema and a Marvel. Some Chinese cinema and a Marvel.
Yeah, it's definitely in the background. Aesthetically, obviously, it was gonna look the way it does.
Yeah.
And I thought that, the initial opening when it's got the montage that's got the narration on it about the Mandarin, I did think that the first real fight sequence is still in that scene where the Mandarin fights who turns out to be Shang-Chi's mother.
Brilliant scene, actually. I did really
Yeah.
enjoy that scene.
That was a good jumping off point
Yeah.
for the action. I was just like, I thought it was incredible. Some of the choreography.
It was a fight scene, but it was a dance scene, and it was kind of like there was a romance and a kind of it done what they do in those best sort of fights in those films, where it told a story.
I couldn't but help halfway through though. Like you said, it is like a dance.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but halfway through there is a look that the Mandarin gives to Leiko Wu, who is Shang-Chi's mother, which you knew was going to be a callback at some point. You knew it's the point where he's just like, even though I've just met this woman, I'm obviously ferociously in love with her.
Yeah, it was like a love affair. Yeah, it was.
But I really, really wanted just Descartes from The Dark Knight Rises or Batman Begins, just to be like, this is not a dance, and just fucking elbow him in the head. And he's just fucking knocked the fuck out. Because in my head, I was saying to myself, I was just like, this is like, the choreography is like a dance, and that is the style, it's unmistakable. But I really just wanted fucking Ra's al Ghul to just straight from the top rope and just elbow him straight through the face and just be like, this is not a dance, and just like famous words from Batman Begins. But no, it was it's obviously beautifully choreographed, and the cinematography was great. Location, Marvel knows what it's doing. It did have a kind of overgloss, which kind of happens in Marvel films. I don't feel like there's an overgloss in, say, The Winter Soldier, but there's an overgloss in this movie.
Yeah,
but I feel like that's maybe we'll talk about it more in a bit, where there's just so much green screen.
Yeah,
and it's so. But even though there's in Endgame and Infinity War, because there's going back to these movies, there's so many different high profile actors that they've had to use tons of green screen there. Not as noticeable as this movie, because this movie is. It's intense with CGI. It's intense,
and in places where like we've had this conversation before. Green screen is a valuable tool. The reason cinema has come to where it is in some aspects of that, and things like Endgame, and that can happen on such a successful level, is because of green screen, using that balance of green screen and real and that sort of thing. But this was just, it was too much. Like, even like they're doing like the Chinese martial arts sort of like style fighting.
Yeah.
So use the wire work that they do. That's an art in itself, where it's like the hit ones and that, because they're doing that sort of movement. And I swear at certain points they were just using CGI instead of just, this technology's been around for decades. Just use that. But it was just a bit. It was a bit much. It was a bit much with the. But that's the overgloss as well, like you said.
That's the only real word that I can think of.
I know what
where
you mean.
Everything's got a bit of a sheen.
A sheen, yeah.
And you're like, life doesn't really look like that, and it really is only noticeable. I say only noticeable. I say it's more prevalent when it's the scenes that are in like San Francisco, because the rest of the world that they inhabit, except for, again, I thought they're in Madripoor, but they're in somewhere else. When they go to the fight arena.
Is it Macabre or something like that? He says it Macabre. He says I think it's an actual place in China,
Well,
isn't it, rather than a Marvel place in
I
China.
thought they would have used Madripoor like they did for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Anyway, that's just a little detail that I was
Is
just
that
like,
China,
it's somewhere else.
Is Madripoor China?
No, the Madripoor is a made up.
It's just it's a country.
I think it's a city.
Yeah,
So it's a city that's made up for the Marvel universe, like Wakanda. And
yeah, but is that in China?
it's just
Is it
an
in Asia?
unknown Asian region.
Yeah, it's
You know what I mean? Like Wakanda's unknown African region.
It's Quarter Maltese. It's their Quarter Maltese. Yeah,
Yeah, and you know, like Sokovia, it's like unknown Eastern European region.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
like, yep, cool.
And it's Wakanda, I guess, yeah, because it's Africa. Yeah,
and you're just a little bit like, well, you know, in the places that are real, it's more noticeable when the green screen and the just I don't think there's like an over saturation, but there's just like an over vibrancy. I know that sounds like really bad. I don't want like all my Marvel films to be like drab.
Oh, I know.
But it's just, you know, it's kind of uncanny where you're just like, I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, something's off.
Something's off. And that starts pretty much after the initial narration, and you get to getting to know the titular character of Shang-Chi.
Who's a brilliant character, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, one thing that is a positive with this, not to say it again, but something we will touch on a little bit later, is that I can feel these characters growing into this universe and it not feeling unnatural, even though they haven't necessarily had the film to launch them into it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It's this, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of back and forth between comparison between this and Black Widow. This and Black Widow, it feels like two of the best things about it were the post-credit scenes because of the way it sets them up for the universe.
Yeah.
And that's like after the movie, just like the little tease thing is one of the most positive things to take from that involves the characters sort of thing.
And
not the story they've just gone through or their introduction, but more, okay, I want to see what they do with this.
The story that they've just gone through is a little bit like, okay, but I want to see more of the character. I want to just have less of like the rubbish villains and like the, you know, I'm talking in Black Widow here mainly, but you know, and all of the guff. Literally all of the guff that's in the middle. I just cut that shit out. And you know, Natasha, not to tread the same water twice, but with Natasha, she's always been better just in a team movie.
Yeah, she's
and,
good.
And now that's confirmed.
Yeah, because the mystery. We like the mystery. We like the vulnerable moments, but a lot like a supporting role. The best thing about being a supporting role, Chris Evans used to literally like be, before he was Captain America, was like king of it, where he was the sort of like almost not comedy relief, but supporting role. He could step in, be the cocky guy, be funny, step back, and you didn't have to compromise that character too much, show too much of it. And it was like, with her, it was the same. And but
so after some overly forced character development, we get to know our characters. Shang-Chi, who's named Sean at this point, and Katie, who you know, lives with her parents, kind of has a dead-end job, but they show that they, you know, they're just living their life as 20-somethings living in San Francisco.
Yeah,
both who just have jobs as valets.
Yeah,
and you know, you get to see that Katie is good. You know. She's good at driving. She's a bit reckless. She's a bit funny, which is, you know, I didn't dislike the character. I thought in parts I was just like, she's quite funny, and you know, in some parts is quite real.
Yeah,
you know, like,
absolutely.
A lot of this, you know, the funny stuff that was happening, you know, it wasn't like rolling on the floor laughing funny, but it was more just like that's just real.
Yeah,
that's just real life, honey.
She had a weird way she projected her voice. It was almost like a theatrical way she projected her voice.
Maybe.
But I've met people like that.
Yeah,
it didn't. Again, it wasn't sort of like she's just allowed. The idea is she's larger than life, so she talks larger than life. So like, if you're on a bus, the whole bus can hear her. Like,
yes,
that sort of thing going on. Yeah,
yeah, and you know, after a bit of exposition again, kind of like so we had. Well, I think this was the cringiest part of the movie for me is the bit where they're in the bar talking to their friend from high school and their friend from high school's
New boyfriend?
squeeze, I guess.
Yeah,
And,
new boyfriend or husband? It's kind of unclear.
And it was just like really awkward where they had the typical American lines of like, oh, we've been through thick and thin and we've been like friends for 10 years. It's like absolutely no one that I've spoke to in the last ever have I had that conversation with.
No.
Even when like absolutely pissed and having a heart to heart, it doesn't work like that. And
No.
this wasn't even one of those things. That was just like you're hanging out with people that you're with every day. So for you to reference exactly how long you've had this relationship with them for, and for you to be saying this in front of like a stranger, who didn't really ask, it's just like
do people in real life, do they tell the story of how we met? Is that a thing?
No.
It's always something I've seen.
And they're not even romantically engaged.
No,
Do you know
they're just talking about how they met, and obviously it's to do with their friend whose boyfriend she's brought along.
But there is
she
a bit,
ties in. But
there is a bit where it's like, you can understand a little bit why that they're saying this, but when they're in the alley afterwards, when it's just them and they're like walking to, you think they're walking to go home.
Yeah.
They just start talking in exposition. They just start talking in like things that have happened to them.
Yeah.
And like in time scales. And I'm just like, who speaks like this? Such an Americanism. You never catch that in a British film,
the realist moment in that whole little bit is they have the back and forth, and I'm going to go home, and definitely had those moments.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, we have done that. We have 100% done that. I think I've said the word "or" in that way.
And you just, you've gone from like a conversation that like makes no sense that people will like never have to a real situation, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, is the writing bad?
The real situation
is the writing real or is it bad?
The real situation is a smash cut from the "or" to them just going out, getting hammered, ending up karaoke. Like it's all kind of like just a brilliant like light out because they've got work early the next morning. They shouldn't, and then it's just two young 20-year-olds doing what you do when you're 20-year-old. That was the most relatable moment of that whole thing.
I've literally done that twice in the last 2 weeks. So like when it happened in the movie, I was just like, oh yeah, I get that. That's all right. Like that's real. I
remember thinking, I want to find one of these karaoke things where you just get a room and get hammered and sing.
I can't remember what it's called. It's called something like it's called like Blip something.
Okay.
Like Blippioke or something.
Blippioke.
Or I can't remember what it's called. Like there's like a poster on the wall, and I was just like, that's so on the nose. Like because half of the entire universe died in the blip, and for you to be using it as a slogan, as a quip, as a marketing tool. Kind of not okay. You know what I mean?
But would probably happen.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Marvel, you hit the nail on the head. Like,
your realist moment was your two main characters getting hammered and singing karaoke. Which I mean, if you're gonna have a real moment, it might as well be that, to be honest. But that whole opening bit was a little bit like, just so you get past that. He wakes up after a very heavy night out and somehow still does push-ups first thing in the morning. I guess the idea is he's trained and he's in shape, and you find out later on he had training and stuff from his dad, so I guess he's a warrior thing, so wakes up and does push-ups as part of his morning routine.
You find out very soon after that he's been trained from very young to be
7,
an assassin.
wasn't it? Yeah.
So you don't just lose that just because you ran away. Obviously you stop training every day and beating yourself bloody, punching a piece of wood to death. But he still wants to keep in shape.
Yeah, I guess a bit.
Nothing wrong with it.
That would he definitely only had like 2 hours sleep, and then was doing push-ups.
Oh yeah. That's so again we've gone from like two extremes. We've gone from like severely unrealistic dialogue to realistic happenings like going out and getting pissed and doing karaoke until like 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and then very unrealistic again where he's just like he has like no hangover and
No,
he's
he's
just like he was only had like 2 hours sleep, but he's able to do probably an ungodly amount of push-ups.
And the thing is, actually, 12, I'm getting that bit mixed up. I think the push-up bit actually happens before they're telling the story, and then but the impression of that whole thing is that that's what they're doing every night. So you're very much the lead is that he, the night before, was out getting hammered, got up early, goes to work, they go meet their mates, go get hammered. It's like a routine. Like
I've just remembered what the karaoke place is called in regards to the blip as well. It's called Blip Sync.
oh god,
Like lip sync.
that's amazing.
Blip
Well
sync.
done to whoever in Marvel came up with that.
Guy needs a raise.
Like, yep, get that guy a raise. Give him the next movie.
The Easter eggs.
Let him direct the next movie for that.
No, but this. When I saw that, I just like you just give out a little giggle.
I didn't notice. I didn't even notice.
But
Yeah.
you get to learn a little bit about these characters. He's kind of happy in his in his dead end. Or I say dead end job, like in his current job of.
It's just it's a ground level job, and it's just it's grunt work job. He's a valet. Like it's not his career, but it gets money, and he gets to go out and live in New York from it. So he's
San Francisco.
Is it San Francisco? Sorry, San Francisco.
Yeah.
American cities, man.
Giveaway.
They are
The
American
giveaway.
cities, man. But yes, they are.
It's kind of awkward. No reference to Ant-Man at all.
That's very true.
It's like one of those things where I was like, I don't want to say anything. But
Yeah.
I know. But also, I guess why not? Because Shang-Chi's its own thing, so it's fine. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm just something. Although we probably missed something. I'm sure, like
If you looked up the Easter eggs or something,
Yeah, I'm
we're
sure,
like, oh
like-
look,
I'm sure,
Hank
like-
Pym was in the background.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure his daughter was probably on the bus. I'm
Yeah,
reckoning.
maybe. Yeah, something
So-
like that.
But also, again, not to go too far down the rabbit hole of Easter eggs, but the guy who's doing the funny commentary on the fight on the bus is also in Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just like, it's just. I feel like that's a bit shoehorning too much in, because obviously that's in New York. This is San Francisco.
Yeah.
For him to have seen Spider-Man, he's the one who's like, "Hey, Spider-Man, do a flip."
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah,
And I'm just like, not every character who's in minor scenes has to be seen again.
yeah, exactly.
I know it's to be fair, like obviously they do it a lot in comic books and it's comic book movies, blah blah blah. But I'm just like, I don't need it.
no, it's.
I don't need to be on this podcast
there's
talking
now-
about like a guy who asked Spider-Man to do a flip and he's in Shang-Chi and Shang-Chi was rubbish. Like I don't need that.
No, it's just, and there seems to now be two types of Easter eggs. There's good ones and there's these ones. I used to love Easter eggs, but now there's like actually a bad and a good type, which
One that's just like why, and one that's just like cool.
cool. Yeah, that's right. That's cool. That's really subtle.
Yeah,
Watch WandaVision. Tons of amazing Easter eggs.
great. Yeah,
Even Loki in terms of it, but yeah, these ones are just like, I don't know. I wouldn't even call them Easter eggs, because the idea of Easter eggs is
they're just
tiny little things you can't really see, and you have to be someone has to either go through and find them or hunt them. These are like
cringy connections.
these are just look
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you remember that guy who
Yeah, that guy.
was really nonchalantly just asking Spider-Man to do a flip? We've talked about this for far too long. So he was in the scene, which is probably one of the better scenes of the film, because the action, the choreographing was pretty great, I think. Of the bus fight. I mean, it's in plenty of the trailers.
Yeah.
You get to see
The full thing. No,
one of the sub villains, which is Razor Fist.
Oh,
So, I mean, Razor Fist
sounds familiar.
is, I mean, if you've seen any of the trailers, is like I said, a sub bad guy. One of those, a henchman. Why am I saying sub bad guy? He's a henchman.
He's a freaking henchman.
He's a freak.
Head henchman.
He's like your archetypal henchman as well.
Yeah.
He's like foreign, obviously.
Oh,
Like, like he's got to be Eastern European. There's got to be
Because
like
they're the
some
bad.
kind of,
He's just like fucking hell, really.
all right, on the nose. Oh, especially in a film that is, like the majority of the characters are Asian.
Yeah.
It feels like really out of place. I know the Ten Rings is quote unquote a multinational crime organization.
Yeah.
But for you to just have one Romanian on the squad and everyone else be Asian, it's kind of awkward.
Yeah. It's odd. They don't represent the multi. They kind of say it is, I guess.
Yeah.
But then they don't
everyone's
show
Asian.
it. They don't show everyone's Asian and this one Eastern European guy.
That's fine.
No,
but it's
I mean-
awkward. I feel like this is Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it's like, are we not just going to reference that there's only one Romanian guy in a group full of just all Asians? Like, I'm okay with it, but dude, like, it's weird.
Don't tell me what you're. Yeah, it's just
But yeah, so Razor Fist is like the main henchman.
It's
and
the big guy.
He's trying to get a pendant which they couldn't have focused on more beforehand. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It was literally like if you count the shots, there's like 4 or 5 close-ups of this thing.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know it was there, like you can get that it's probably got something about it by showing it twice.
I think they could have not shown it, had that scene where he wants the pendant, and that would have been enough.
Yeah,
and it would have been one of the things where you go back and go, "Oh yeah, I didn't even notice it was around his neck."
Yeah,
that's what. Yeah, I'd be like, the Razor Fist as well is very much has the archetype big guy entrance.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's just fought off 3 or 4 different men, done okay with them, and then the big guy stands up and fights.
It's like a video game.
It's literally, it's like it's just every action movie.
Yeah,
there's always a big guy.
Hmm.
But yeah, but it's just such a like, oh come on guys, clever this Marvel movie. Like,
yeah, it's just every time I think back to
not a great actor.
Yeah, no, never. No, I don't know who plays him.
But yeah, But the scene itself, actually, yeah, it's a good fight scene. A cool little, like, more, I would say it's more that modern martial arts 90s, early noughties thing, like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, where it's like in a very modern setting, like a bus or something like that, and he's jumping around
it's very
using
much
his environment.
Yeah, it's very much a stunt.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's very much, we have to use as much of the, I mean, because it's in close proximity, like obviously it means you have to use the environment a bit more, but it's like, oh, the whole thing is a stunt.
Yeah,
but I liked it. I liked the scene and the action, and
when the fights. This is something that you later on there is a bit of it becomes a bit of a more of a deviation, but when the fights were just one-on-one fighting,
that's when they were the best.
They were the best. The one between the dad and the mum, this one on the bus. It was just, and then as it goes on, as I was saying, but like that's when the movie's at its best. They do that well. There was aspects of some of it where I was, like I said, I felt like they could have used the old wire techniques, but instead they seem to go with the CGI. They kind of leant towards CGI, which is a bit frustrating. But the scenes themselves were like, they were well choreographed. It was that kind of like, it was. I did enjoy those elements of it, but it was just So that was good to see. What does that even lead into?
I mean, the Razor Fist does actually get the pendant in the end.
Yeah.
When you think they've got away, because Shang-Chi and Katie and everyone on the bus gets away pretty much unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get that false sense of security, thinking, oh, they got away with it, but Razor Fist, with the last swipe of his giant sword hand, he got the pendant.
Yeah.
And so which leads into just before this, where he gets an unmarked postcard from China, and you don't know at that point, but then it's revealed that he has a sister.
Yeah.
Through a little bit more exposition dumping, and he's like, we must go, and I'm a little bit thinking to myself, how were they able to afford like 2 tickets to China on their wages?
Yeah, like they're definitely blowing all their money on the nights out in San Francisco.
Yeah,
like,
but they've just got a load of money just to go halfway around the world. At that point, I was just like, there was a scene obviously where they tried to make a bit of a funny about airplane food, which just didn't land with me. I was just like, right, okay.
Oh, I didn't mind that. I appreciated the comedy. And I liked the whole interruption to the. I'm going to tell you some more of my dark backstory.
To be fair, like I've skipped ahead a little bit, but so when they go on the plane, he starts the narration about like his life. So it's another flashback, but told a little bit later on from the flashback previously.
Yeah,
he's talking about his life and telling Katie about his like real identity.
She's now just found out, so it's him explaining himself.
Yeah, and.
Also, just jumping back slightly. I don't understand the introduction of her family.
Yeah,
there's the most pointless scene where he goes to meet her from home.
Nothing happens.
Meets her family, and it's just like there's this endearing old lady that you think maybe is going to have some wisdom later on. Maybe that's the idea. No, the mum who's a little bit like you got to sort yourself out. Something you think it's going to have a no. You don't even see them again. You never see them again, and it's just kind of like. Okay, maybe they'll come into it later on. At least in Ant-Man, you see the mum and the boyfriend consistently throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
They're like the side, but this was just like, she's like, here's her and her family. Oh, they've got the archetypes of each part of it. Like the what's it, the kind of like almost controlling mother, the relaxed grandmother, spiritual grandmother, that sort of thing.
And the annoying
he's obviously
little kid.
Close. horrible drop away line where I feel like they kind of. The grandmother was endearing and then just went straight to the archetype where she's like, when are you two getting married? I'm like, sorry, no, you know that you've had this do you ask him this every time?
Yeah.
Like, why I
mean, you see each other all the time. It's implied.
Awful. It was cringe. It was like, when
so
are you two getting
cringy.
like, oh my, the way he just goes, I kind of almost wanted him to go, I tell you this every fucking time. Like, what the fuck do you want, old lady? I want him to lose his shit, but he kind of goes, oh no.
That would have been great if it was...
no, we're just friends. I just wanted to kind of go, look, fucking, I'm fed up with you, fucking.
Yeah, you think you're in a Marvel film, and then he's just like absolutely berating Gran. Like, just like, stop fucking asking me the same questions every day. Like,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
Please get tested for dementia, but like until then, honestly, just stop.
Just stop. Go talk to your dead husband. Jesus.
Oh, but then they say all this stuff. Like, there's again more exposition is dumped. The fact that like the grandmother has a husband that we obviously maybe has passed away recently, or in the last couple of years, because she. Like does a bit of like a not a ritual, but like she has things she does.
She has a Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
So there is a Day of the Dead in her religion or culture, whatever.
Maybe.
And
that's not really explained.
No, she just says Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
And then says like last year she left a bottle of whiskey at his grave, and that was taken. So she takes him a gift every time.
With that line where she's like, "I took him a bottle of whiskey and it disappeared." They didn't even turn to the 16-year-old kid. Like, I was like, you've just set up for the punchline of the joke, where it's like, oh yeah, but the little kid afterwards, went and got it. He's about 16, 17. Like I was waiting for them to camera cut to him and him be like looking shifty, like I didn't take no bottle of whiskey, like. But they just didn't do it. I'm just like missed opportunity just for a bit of a bit of a funny line.
Yeah.
But they just dumped this information and then just like never reference again.
No, like I don't know why the grandfather was just have him. He might as well have been around the table. Like our friend said, we thought maybe that he was going to come up later on in the story. We'll say when we get to it.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't even that. And you're like, oh, okay. But yeah, so to jump it. So they're on the train, they're on the plane at this point. They've done the whole So it's the meal thing was kind of like I get what they were trying to do. It was trying to break up this kind of like, we're doing the serious expedition, but look, we're
still 20 something.
You've still done it.
Yeah,
like, don't try and make it funny.
We had to get in are they going to get together because they're both opposite sexes. You know how it works.
They hang out
Come
with
on,
their
kids.
opposite sex. They must be getting together. No.
Yeah,
that is a pro I will give them. There was no love interest really, was
Yeah,
there?
there was no forced love
Which is
interest.
all right because I don't mind a love interest when it feels natural, but I hate a forced in one. And I feel like there was so much going on in this story. There was no
Didn't
room
need
for
it,
him
yeah.
to be like, oh, so while I'm sorting out things with my dad and trying to find out my mom and trying to save my sister, I love her. Like it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. Genuinely, you're in so much danger. There's no room
There's no
for
time to fall in love.
getting
Yeah.
lovey-dovey ice.
Exactly. Yeah. So
But yeah, it's it's at this point where both of them go off to China, and again, I have no idea how they paid for it, but it's fair enough. Story's got to go somewhere.
yeah.
And again, this was a good sequence. At this point, I'm still quite optimistic for the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah. There's been nothing to make me go, oh, there's a few moments like that, so with the grandma, and I
A
was
few
silent.
bits that you just like, okay.
That is when it first started in my head, and it's the first time I've had. Even during Black Widow, I didn't have this, but I think I was riding like back to the cinema high.
Yeah.
But it was that first moment where I was like, "Am I enjoying this? Is this
good? Is this good?
yeah, that's when it
serious
started to
podcast.
maybe." Yeah.
And yeah, I think this is when they were a little bit like, look, we're gonna put in some bit of like mystery, bit of action, all in the same scenes. It's quite fast going in this bit. And there was quite a lot of action in a short space of time, and a little bit more of the story revealed.
Yeah.
I think they did it quite well.
I did enjoy that scene.
If you even have two kind of free brain cells to rub together, you knew that like when he was going in the cage, and Abomination and Wong were both leaving.
I don't know if I am intrigued, confused, dislike it, or like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there, and I'm kind of like almost a bit of respect to Marvel, but also like there better be an explanation coming up, or I don't know. It's such a random thing to even have Wong there.
Yeah.
I know the idea is he's mellowed out a little bit since you think his first introduction to him, even by the end of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But why is Wong taking part in an illegal fighting tournament
with Abomination, and it's a fix,
and it seems to be a fix between the two of them? Like that's very not Wong.
Yeah,
but
no.
Maybe we haven't seen enough of him. Maybe
do you know what
is.
I feel like this
I'd
was?
love to see what it is.
I feel like this was an idea that was thrown out there for the trailer, and then they were just like, we don't know what to do, so he just fucking sling rings a portal open, and they just both walk off.
Oh yeah, Abomination's in it. Yeah. Like who you assume is going to be some sort of villain, and he's not at all.
No,
it's
been what you're looking at. I want to say 13 years since.
So it's enough time for him to have got his head together.
Yeah, it's literally 13 years since we've seen Abomination.
He was a little bit more in his mind, wasn't he, than the Hulk was?
Yeah.
He's growing the fish gills now.
Yeah, yeah. It was it was kind of intriguing. Didn't really lead anywhere.
Yeah, and
like I said, you only have to have a couple of brain cells to rub together. That you were like, oh, who's Shang-Chi gonna fight? And in the flashbacks, that he's just said, it's just
2 seconds before it's showing you in the flashback as well.
It's showing you his sister, and he's just like, I'll be back in 3 days, and he's just like. You knew it. It was still kind of all right.
It was good.
Still kind of cool. Good fight.
Another one-on-one fight. Happy with it.
But you were just like, it's not going to be anyone else. So, you get to the introduction of his sister.
Doesn't actually make sense why she's fighting.
No idea.
In my idea, because maybe it's a thing that because the idea is that she runs the fight club. So she's the head of it. She started it. She's in charge of it. She's the Don, but she fights in it as well.
Yeah, no idea.
Why
would you risk your life?
It's not. Why would you risk your life?
If you're just raking in that money,
or it's just. I don't know.
Maybe it's like a second thing. It's just like
he fights.
A pride thing.
I'm okay with that. Maybe
there are loads of rich people in that. Nothing to prove.
To be honest, there's no character there to me know if she even has any pride or emotions or thoughts, to be honest, because she doesn't like. There's nothing. There's nothing to her.
Shang-Chi's sister
Awful
is probably
character.
probably one of the most kind of nonsensical characters. Like
She's
what she doesn't make sense in
yeah,
a lot of this,
yeah,
especially at the beginning. In the middle and towards the end, it's like, well, they have a goal of like stopping
yeah,
their dad, so what they're doing is fine. But then what happens in the end again is such a what the fuck moment. And I'm
yeah.
just like, okay,
She's worse than think of the worst broody teenager character that's had that like awkward past and doesn't talk and just oozes resentment. Think of how awful those characters can be. Think of the worst one. She's worse than that.
I mean that is the opposite of high praise. But that's disastrous. But she just I can tell why she has introduction into this story, but she just seems to be on the periphery like the whole time.
Yeah, she could have been so much. I'm all for the character. I think. I've said. I think I've said it before. Siblings, all for it. I like the whole like siblings sort of thing. I almost wanted like them to share the rings and shit like that. But this was just. She was just so. It was like they went. Oh, he's got a sister. Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah. You write the sister. I haven't got time. Oh. Okay.
Harsh.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Just we'll put her in. She'll be in the scenes.
Yeah.
She can fight. Like, okay, are we going to write a character and backstory? No. We've got Katie.
She found a weapon.
It's like, yeah, she's got a weapon. Yeah, she can do the rope thing. Oh, okay. Should we have a character? She can do the rope thing. Yeah, no, I know.
Do
but
the blade on a rope thing.
Yeah,
like Kill Bill.
but
it's not a ball on the rope.
She has
It's
a
a
character.
blade.
She runs the fight club. Cool. Okay,
How does
giving
that
me
make sense?
attributes. You're not giving me a character.
Yeah.
She's
Give me things that she does.
she gives like a really like a blank look. You're not giving me it. Like just like I'm sorry, like, but yeah. I don't know. Not well done to that person's idea.
No.
You don't get a Marvel movie.
No. Yeah.
Give it to the blip sync guy.
Yeah. But I think.
Yeah.
Her introduction at this point, I was okay. I was intrigued when they were like having the fight, but then she went back into the office and it was revealed that she runs the thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? that doesn't make sense. So it's at this point that this is one thing that I didn't get with So she sent a postcard, but then it turns out that she didn't send the postcard.
No.
Shang-Chi only goes to China because she sent the postcard
With her address.
So whoever sent it, we are now assuming that it was the Mandarin or like the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
Why did they bring him there? They were going to San Francisco to get his amulet / pendant, which we've already talked about, and his sister has one as well, which help discover the route into the magical forest from whence he was. The Mandarin was already looking for in the beginning.
Tailao?
Yes.
Talao, isn't it? Tailao. Or Tailao?
It's a village with magical creatures, lots of power. And the pendant obviously shows the way. So they have to get there. Obviously, their intent is to get both. But they already went to San Francisco to get one. And then they went to China.
Yeah, got the China.
Why did
one
they
second.
give the postcard?
Why did
they didn't need them in the same place, and they didn't try and get them in the same place and get them both at the same time. They had a plan, and that was just to have them separate, get the amulets. The postcard thing was such a I was scratching my head. I was like, which one of you dumb motherfuckers sent this postcard? Because now they're together. Apart, they were like fine, they both probably would have failed, and easier to get the things we need for the location of this magical entrance.
All you did was you put Shang-Chi in a place where he's now going to oppose you again.
Yeah.
Whereas you probably could have picked off the sister pretty fucking easy.
I was like, who wrote this in?
It was it's just odd. But led to a good fight scene of the.
Led to a great fight scene.
Reminded me very Rush Hour on the bamboo. Rush Hour 2 on the bamboo scaffolding. I did like that. I love it. Ever since that, I've always endured to a bamboo scaffolding fight because of Rush Hour.
I mean, in such a high-tech country, would they be using bamboo? No. Do I like it for the aesthetic?
They've done it in 2 movies now. Maybe it is a thing.
No, I don't know about that. But yeah, the fight sequence was good. Again, I feel like when the Mandarin, obviously at the end of the fight, eventually turns up after sending not Razor Fists, but I'm gonna call him the Masked Goon. Because we never learn about the Masked Goon and who they are.
I really thought it was going to be someone, and it really wasn't.
I did say, I think I leant over to you in the film. I said, if this is like the mum or something, I'm going to fucking leave.
Yeah,
because I was just like, don't do it. Do you know what I mean? Because what happened in Black Widow? I was like, if they're going to do this in 2 straight movies, I'm going to fucking leave. But I could just feel it. You know, I feel like they purposely gave the ninja, the Masked Goon, like no features, no gender features.
Yes, yeah.
Which you know, you could say kind of happened in Black Widow with Taskmaster. You know, they didn't give him a codpiece, and they didn't give her a breastplate.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, I was just like, oh no, here we go again. And surprisingly, they didn't do anything, which might have been worse.
I know, because even if they'd done it, it would have been like, oh, well, they're not an important character. So.
But they are, because you see in the flashback that the Masked Goon is actually like basically someone who trained Shang-Chi and basically not tortured him, but like would hit him if he did wrong, or would, you know, when he failed, would be punished by the Masked Goon. And you're just like, he's in the backstory. He is prevalent. He's like not important, but like part of the story.
Never gets any.
Nothing happens.
Another just. So this is Masked Goon. Okay, cool. And should we give him a character, or if like he's got a mask?
Yeah.
And he trains Shang-Chi. Okay, they're attributes. We just need a character.
I feel like one of the writers was just like, so he was given the sister and the Masked Goon, and he just like, you know, like one of those guys who just like blags their way into a job.
Yeah.
And doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. I feel like that was like this writer, and when it all came together, it was just like, look, man, my characters haven't done anything. Look, you know, I'll forgo the pay. But honestly, we're on a deadline. I didn't do anything. It's like a group project.
You can see it in the group meeting. It's like, John, you haven't made a contribution to the movies in a while. Like, have you got anything? Just say anything. And he's kind of gone, oh shit, okay, oh shit. So on Monday, I want you to come in, and I want 2 characters from you, and that we're gonna, and if they're good enough, we'll put them in this movie, and we'll talk about your future here. And he's like, oh god, panicked the weekend, got hammered, turned up on Monday, no plan, and then just kind of goes with excitement and enthusiasm. So he's got a sister, and they're like, okay, and like she can fight, and she does the rope thing. Oh, that's cool. And her character, she owns a club, and then there's a masked guy, and he trains Shang-Chi. Cool, okay. And what's his character? And he's got this really cool mask with like really excited, and they're like, yeah, this is cool, John. But and then they kind of walk out of the meeting and go, oh fuck.
By that time, he's gone. He's gone. John's like the border to Mexico. So you know, this big epic sequence is kind of bullet pointed, or just, you know, finishes on the Mandarin turning up, which I'm just like, if he was there the whole time,
what is he doing?
He's there the whole time. These 10 rings are fucking powerful.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how powerful, because we don't either. but they're just MacGuffinly powerful.
Yeah.
And so him turning up is just like, I don't understand why he's gone and got the masked goon and, a load of... Actually, I think Razor Fist is there, but
he is there,
it doesn't really do much.
No.
And, and then he just turns up at the end and he's just like, I told my men that they wouldn't be able to kill you. It's just like, why did you tell them? Why did you send them?
If you were his men, you'd be like...
Right,
okay. As he says it, there are men standing around him, and I know they were like good developed. Under those masks, they're part of them are like, oh okay, that's what this is.
I can't take him down, can we? Like, son of a bitch sent us though.
Okay, we're just trained us forever. Send us I could have died, and this guy's just like, I know they wouldn't know it. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
There was a few less in the next scene because they left.
You could just see,
quit.
You didn't really see anything. You just see like it's like a close up shot of like the Mandarin's face, but then when you can just about see someone in the background, and then like he's just like, I knew I should have told my sorry, what does he say? I told my men that they wouldn't be able to kill you. Literally, you just see one just go, motherfucker, just like shaking his head in the background,
like standing there all imposing, and then as he says it, you just see him go, motherfucker, turn his head, just like look at him.
But it's such a bit of an awkward interaction. And then they is it at that point where he explains that to get Shang-Chi, Katie, and Shang-Chi's sister to come with him back to his Ten Rings compound. He basically, I think it is at this point where he says about, it's about your mother. Like it was at that point where it's like that scene at the end of Back to the Future 2. Where like that guy is like really shady and he comes up, he's like, Marty McFly, and McFly's just like, yeah, it's just like, we've been waiting for you. And it's just like, it's a bit of a turn, where it's just like, we've been waiting all these years, we got this letter, and it's just like, it's about the dark. It's just like, I don't know, I was just like, he's gave them one little bit of information, then it's like, oh, everything's fine, it's about, his mother's might be alive, okay. Like they're all just like fine with it,
but they go all the way back with him. If that was me, and I know it's a film, and again, we have to give it a certain level of, in real life that wouldn't happen. But if it goes, it's about your mum, I'd be like, oh, what? Oh no, you have to come back and have dinner. No, what? You've just tried to kill me, so
twice.
I think just maybe give me something, and we'll see if I come back for dinner.
Yeah.
Like, no, what is it?
I'm not going to eat your food. It might be poison.
We can't talk here. Who are you in danger from?
Yeah.
Like, you literally have those 10 rings on.
We can't talk here. It's just like, well, everyone important's here. Like, like everyone important's here. Like, there's no one else.
You've just made a ruckus.
Come on, dude.
Like...
But, and, through... and then they fly back to the compound, which you see in flashbacks and things, the beginning of the 10 Rings... and then they get back there, and he announces that his son is home, and at this point the lines of him being a villain get slightly blurry, because obviously in the beginning montage he is kind of he's set out to be a villain.
The opening thing is that they could have been used for good, but he used them for power.
Yeah,
it's that whole.
And then in that same narration, though, he falls in love and gives them up, but takes them off.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit like, right, he's been sending these train killers to find his son and these pendants, and then they. I'm not saying they achieve this, but they are trying to throw you off the scent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
No.
But they're like, oh look, see, it's about his mother, or that. So he's been doing all these things for this reason, and you're just like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna quite trust this murderous 1,000+ year old man who's
been good
slaughtered
for
so many
about
people.
30 years.
Yeah. Not even that. Not even 30 years. Shang-Chi is like 20.
He had the equivalent of his lifespan of a good day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And So, they get to the compound, and, he's trying to explain, and he goes through more of the backstory of him and his mother, and, he's trying to explain that, his mother is trying to talk to him from beyond a locked gateway.
So she didn't die,
Yeah.
of which we don't find out. Oh no, we do find out. But she didn't die in that moment. That he definitely saw her die. We find out later. Like,
Yeah.
but instead her people from Te Lao, of which he has explained, wouldn't let him live there because he was unworthy.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him live in this village that he was trying to get to. That was the end of the beginning narration. He's trying to get to this mythical place because
He's bored.
reasons. He's trying. Yeah, he's bored basically.
Bored.
Yeah, he's done everything on Earth, and
Yeah.
he's trying to get to this place that you cannot get to. Finds his mother at the gate, and she's just like, "I'm not letting you in." They fall in love, and for 30 years they live happy. Or 25 years, 20 years, 10 years, however. No, I think it's only even 7 because it's
Between.
Yeah.
I think you're kind of assuming that year they meet, it all
Crikey,
kind
I
of
said
happens.
30. It was 7, a blink of an eye for him. He was a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Jesus, talk about not reforming. But
That's literally like he didn't kill someone that morning.
yeah,
Well
yeah,
done.
cool. Yeah, well done. Like now, do it again, like forevermore. But
Yeah.
So he tries to explain to Katie, his son, and his daughter that he's trying to get these pendants for good. And if you were getting them for good, just ask. He sent 2 friggin' ninja squads after this guy, and a guy who's got a fist that's a fucking sword, and he's just like, I'm doing it for
Definitely
good.
wasn't trying to not kill him.
Exactly. And you're just like, right, okay, couldn't just ask and say your mother might be alive, she's behind this doorway and I need the pendants for the map for the doorway. See, I just did it. And I didn't send like ninja squads after someone. I just said, you could just call or text or email. Whether he knows how to do that because he is over 1,000 years old is a different.
He knows.
But I mean, it must be hard to type with all the jangly. But it's you're just like, I don't see how they were convinced to just come with. I know they didn't really have much choice, but also, how did they just go like, we're just never going to believe you because you're a murderous person and you just sent murder squads after us.
The most
Your only children.
The most logical explanation here is you have gone mad. That's it.
Yeah.
You've gone mad.
You're mad.
You're mad. And he does get the quiff at one point.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
As it goes on, the madness becomes him.
Yep. And what's that? It's happened in all 3 films. I think 3, 4. Has it happened in all 4 films we've seen in the cinema? I reckon it probably happened to Ray Winston in Black Widow.
It did.
When he's like, it
did.
Yeah, the madness. Dishevelled quiff. And then obviously
Mad German.
Yeah, Mad German from Jungle Cruise.
It's where it originated, the Mad German.
And then this one again. It's just like if you're on the ropes and your madness has just like hit peak, you're always perfectly formed Hollywood hair. Just has a little curl in it, and it goes just out of style. Just out of the. Your hair's all nice, and then like you've gone mad, and you got the little curl at the front, and and you're on your knees, and so he's trying to explain to them that the mother is calling them from this place that we've only heard about, we haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
and you're just like, no.
I clocked it.
Yeah, you're
before
just like
the
no.
villain, before the big bad is kind of like the other big bad is sort of even referenced. I was like, oh well, clearly something's talking to him from beyond the gate and just luring him. Like,
Yeah,
100. Like that was my first thought. Maybe you're supposed to get that. I don't know, but I was just like, oh, okay, it's definitely not the mum. Especially when you find out how the mum dies. You're like, she definitely died.
Yeah, you're just like. And even then, when you do realise that there's maybe something from beyond this realm that's talking to him, I'm just like, how? I'm just, do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I know I shouldn't be questioning it because I am a little bit like, well, in this film, there's
Yeah.
magic,
But
so
they
maybe I
did the
shouldn't.
thing. They
but
did
I'm just
the
like,
thing.
there's no like explanation as to how.
To jump forward, we'll come back, but just to jump forward because it is prevalent to what you've just said. They did the thing where this thing is intelligent enough to mind control and manipulate,
Couldn't open a door.
but then, well, no, it's the idea it can't open the door.
Hasn't
But once
got
it gets
opposable
out,
thumbs.
it's full beast mode. There's no intelligence there.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
yeah.
this crazy wild creature
Yeah.
that isn't fighting clever.
Spoilers.
It's not. It's the whole thing spoilers.
No,
But
I meant
they do the
about
whole. They go
the
from
end.
intelligent being to monster,
yeah.
and it's
It
just
makes
like,
sense.
oh, okay.
Right.
Oh.
Can speak to people across time and space.
And manipulate and know what they want.
Can't quite get through this thing.
just
that-
goes-
Can't quite get through this wall that's
And
been
then
built.
just scream the whole time and do
Yeah.
a monster fight. There was no intelligence at all.
So this mad man, the mad Mandarin.
Mad Mandarin.
So he,
Did we like the joke about Mandarin meaning orange?
I mean, I kind of.
Is
I was
the idea
like,
there that back in the day when they made up the Mandarin, they picked a really cool Chinese word and it's actually backfired now because it turns out it meant orange the whole time?
yeah,
Is that
a
what that
chicken
was?
dish. I like
Yeah,
it.
chicken dish.
See, I don't like the fact that they referenced the Mandarin, like from Iron Man 3.
You didn't like Trevor?
I mean, I kind of do like Trevor, but he's his own thing. But I'm just like,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
if he was his own thing, it would be fine. But the fact that it's self-referential to Iron Man 3, I'm just like, I don't need to be told. Like, the 10 rings were in Iron Man 3, where Guy Pearce's character is basically the person who the Mandarin is talking about.
Yeah.
He was just like, well, this American needed a figurehead to bring down American governments,
Yeah.
and he used Trevor to do it, and he gave him the okay to use the 10 rings as a scapegoat,
Yeah.
because it was I'm guessing at that point where he was still out, because the Mandarin in this movie, Shang-Chi's dad, takes time out to be fucking good dad.
Good
bad
dad. He would have been good. Yes.
So,
No.
I mean, it's all fucked. I don't need to
No,
reference
he
it.
wouldn't have.
No.
Because they were 7. They're now 20. So he would have been bad from when Shang-Chi was 7. Iron Man 3.
Anyway, he still
Yeah.
gave him permission to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it doesn't change the fact that in
Yeah.
the script they writ, like, he was like, yeah, okay, you can use the false guise of Trevor and the 10 rings, and then it's just, I was like, no, I don't need to it to be
Explain.
explained.
We know it. We know who he is.
We
yeah.
just know that we already knew that Trevor wasn't the real Mandarin.
Yeah.
And then even Guy Pearce's character
isn't the real
isn't the real Mandarin.
We know he's
even though he fucking
he's hurt.
screams it.
I think in the thing he says it's like from a story. He tells it as if it's from a story.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course the character might the in a Marvel universe, of course he can actually exist.
If there's a story about the Mandarin and a villain uses that story as a cover for his villainous things, why that
Marvel.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But what doesn't make sense is just to fucking drop what you're doing and explain this in a completely different film about 8 years later.
Yeah.
I'm just I know everything's connected in the Marvel universe, but it's like Star Wars. Not everything has to be referenced.
No, just we know.
don't
the
need to
people
know.
that need the people will know. Will just know.
It's not a big enough deal for me.
No, no.
You could just do a throwaway line where even having Trevor still in it in the
Yeah.
capacity that he is, which we'll get
Well, to be honest, Trevor's explanation of how he got there covers it.
Exactly. He could have just done a throwaway line, the real Mandarin, Shang-Chi's dad. It could have just been like, I keep the false prophet for using my name, or just just like
Yeah, that'd have been alright.
I'm just keeping the Joker because of the way he used my name, that
Yeah.
kind of shit.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, they're they're talking about
Trevor.
Trevor from Iron Man 3. You don't have to go into fucking dialogue about it.
No.
That's not how people would do it. He'd just be like, oh, I've got the guy in my fucking basement. He's been there for years because of what he's done and what he pretended to be me. You just need something easy like that. You don't need to explain. And then, yeah, they make a joke about like it being a chicken dish and like how the Mandarin's just orange.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, kind of funny coming from the mass murderer of 1,000 years, but whatever.
Yeah, it's a very odd thing. But then they disagree. They basically just don't buy it. They're like, Mum's dead. Like, let it go. Like, you hold on, agree, whatever, stuff like that. And he
Which
gets
is what
annoyed.
you would say.
Yes, exactly. I'm quite glad they did that. They didn't buy into it at all. It's like they internally, without actually saying it aloud, had the entire conversation in their own internal monologue with themselves. Like, this guy just sent a hit team after, like, exactly what we've just said.
I'm pretty sure they did have that.
They do, definitely. They're just sitting at the table, just like, what the fuck's this? I think, yeah. And then also, considering this is the first time they've all been around the table in ages, Katie says more than his sister.
God, she does, doesn't she?
Katie is more involved in that entire scene than his sister. The whole thing about his sister is she keeps being cast aside and put on the side, and no one notices her.
Speak up.
Maybe there was a genius aspect. Maybe that was it. Maybe the idea she had to be quiet stuff so that we put her aside and thought of her as a secondary thing. If that was the case, sort of well done, but you too much
waste of character.
No, not well. Yeah, exactly. The cost wasn't enough. Yeah. So they get locked. So he's basically like, right, okay, if you're not coming with me, I'm gonna lock you up. It's like, oh, okay. So they put him in this prison with one inept guard.
It's so Austin Powers in there. It's unreal. Like it's just a room like in underground. I know underground you do expect it to be like, but so if they put them in this, if they put them in this prison, the Mandarin was like, take them away, basically, put them in the fucking cells. He knows there's secret tunnels down there, and what do? Shang-Chi's sister kicks a fucking wall down, and there's like a...
That's how I escaped last time.
Oh my...
How does he not know that's how she escaped last time? Which he definitely did.
God.
The best thing about
one inept guard would have been better.
The best thing about that, and I do see it as a positive, because if we're going to go Marvel, give me a comical character. I do love my comical Marvel characters. My sort of like out-of-place ones. So, Luis, Darcy, I like that. So this is where we are reintroduced to Trevor, and I feel like that was a good creative decision. Trevor was a good creative decision, even if he was sort of a bad creative decision that you kind of liked about Iron Man 3. Trevor was very much in his element in this movie. I did enjoy when he was in it. It was kind of, again though, it was a bit like, oh, people like Trevor. Him being in it beyond that scene, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if he go all the way to Tel Al with them, but yeah. And then with the introduction to Morrissey, that creature from Tel Al, which how did that get there? Did she brought it with her? I guess I don't know. But there's a whole brilliant bit. There's a brilliant bit where he's just like, oh, I thought it was like you can see him. He was real. I did enjoy those sort of bits, and then. So that's kind of all. She kicks the wall down. They escape. They take a car, and we get to see more of what Katie can do. Katie's thing as well. Once they get to Tel Al, kind of again jumping forward, just because it's reverent. It's not that she's good at driving. It's revealed in a throwaway line. She's just a talented person that doesn't do anything with it. She picks things up quick. And you're like, oh, God, because there's no cars here. So yeah, so they've obviously like, oh yeah, so she's a good driver and she can do this up. Okay, cool. So now when she gets to Tel Al and there's a fight, what does she do? Oh shit, rides a horse? Well, no, it's not going to translate. Oh, Okay, what if she wasn't good at driving? She's just a talented person. Okay, okay, well, it's fine. Like, we'll forgive it. So yeah, but she's good enough character that I forgive it enough. But there's brilliant, quite a good driving chase scene. Getting out of the compound.
Yep.
There's this, the whole thing, like Morrissey is guiding them through, so they actually get through the forest to get to Tailao and all that. So they get there earlier than this map reveals you're able to, because the idea is the map tells you the exact time and place and how to go through. But with Morrissey, they don't need that. He just tells them exactly, steers them through it because Trevor can understand him. This little faceless winged goblin thing is cute. It's very much the whole like, there's a plushie. You could
that's going in the Disney store.
Market. There's some. That's what people are going to buy. Yeah. So we have this car chase scene. They get through. To be honest, I'm skipping over about 10, 20 minutes. It's a long movie. Like unnecessarily.
Yeah, you say you're skipping over that, but like you're skipping over a chase scene, and then they're waiting outside a forest. And then they go
into the forest.
And then they go in the forest.
So I'm covering everything, but it sounds like I'm skipping over it. But I'm actually saying everything that happens.
Yeah, you're actually saving
good chase scene. Will actually give you that. It was a very good chase scene. I will give it like a Michael Bay level. Like
no, I wouldn't.
Michael Bay. No. Okay.
The chase scene mixed with the action on the bus was more Michael Bay.
Okay, yeah, fair one.
But nowhere near as explosive.
Yeah.
And obviously more about the choreography of a fight sequence rather than the explosions.
And no close up of anyone's bum.
No close up of anyone's bum, or no, that guy just stole my Humvee, which is a line from The Rock, quote for quote, when Sean Connery takes someone's Humvee, obviously. But when they are in the magical forest and they are not getting eaten by trees, and they go through the magic portal, which we've not seen anything of the ancient village or the world of.
It's a universe, isn't it?
I think so.
They keep calling our world a different universe, so it is a portal to another dimension. It is another dimension.
So we've never seen that before, and basically they enter the world of Kanto from Pokemon, and basically all of the animals there are just the fucking rejects from Pokemon. Or actually, one of them is literally Vulpix and Ninetales, just the Alolan version.
Okay.
Literally, all of the animals they just look like Pokemon. I was expecting Wong to come out of like the fucking portal with a fucking Ash Ketchum's hat on, with like just chucking Pokeballs at them. And I was just like, wow, we entered Detective Pikachu 2 earlier than I thought, and I thought Ryan Reynolds would be voicing Pikachu in this one, but I was just looking around. I was just like, yeah, right. They're like designed on ancient Chinese proverbs and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, but they all just look like Pokemon.
I think the problem is with Pokemon, a lot of old ancient Chinese and Asian mythical creatures, you can't help look at them now and think, oh, Pokemon. Yeah.
So they entered the world. Now we're going to not stop using its official name and start just using Pokemon Land.
Instead of Tailao, it's Kanto.
Yeah, or just Pokemon World.
World.
So when they arrive in Pokemon World, they arrive via car, and it's they're driving this car, and they turn up at this village, and there's all the little Morrises, and all the other free Pokemon, and unfortunately, because we haven't seen this world before in the movie, I just had no connection whatsoever to what was going on.
The only connection I had was
to the cute little Pokemon.
No, it was because I did recognise a lot of the creatures from what I've seen in like old Chinese statues and lore and things like that.
Like those kind of chubby lion things.
I've recognised the fox as well, even though it was just Ninetales.
Vulpix, Ninetales.
Ninetales is famously based off of them, though. The little Morris things I've never seen, to be fair. The faceless little goblin
fluffy pillow, winged pillows.
But
what do you call them? Like a furry chicken or something.
Yeah, because furry chicken, furry chicken or something like that, and he faceless thing,
Yeah.
like he's done like that. But yeah, I think they're the only three creatures you see.
I know, right? No, you see a few more like Moltres. When they come in, they're just like, I think that bird's on fire. It's just, and I'm just like, yeah, Moltres.
Pokemon, man. What have you done? What have you done to
instantly
Chinese and Asian lore?
Identifiable so well to our generation.
I've never seen Pokemon in such a negative kind of like, there's going to be a cost to this, and the cost is Chinese lore is going to take a hit. Asian mythical creature lore is just going to take a big hit. But yeah, I liked the initial aesthetic of it and stuff. In hindsight, and basing off of Marvel's previous CGI level, they were the rhinos in Wakanda again, where I feel like they were just a bit lazy with it.
Yeah.
Especially something that was a Wakanda thing, especially
You mean
something easy as a rhino. In Wakanda, yeah. The giant rhino. The giant rhinos, it's just a giant rhino. Why was it so CGI? This was a bit that. They looked cartoony.
Yeah.
Like they had cartoon eyes. They didn't have the lion
I'm picturing
things.
it when you say they have cartoon eyes. I'm just picturing they're just like all of the backdrop is real, and then there's like Shang-Chi, and then it's just like a fucking huge anime cat.
Yeah,
and you're just like this honestly, is so out of place.
That was it though. It was an anime cat. It was like they didn't have the eyes a lion creature or cat creature would have, where it's like animals have that. They don't have the white to their eyes that we have to an extent. They had that, and it was I don't know. It made him look a bit too cartoony. But yeah.
So they pull up in their broken car.
Yeah,
and they get out, and
because they're driving.
Because they're driving, obviously through.
I would never have
through their tour on Pokemon Snap, and they just they pull up, and then just random old man is just like go, just like no, go home, and it's just like. Right, okay, and I'll just be like, right, all right, mate.
Sorry,
come on, back up. Just like, sorry, get that fucking giant anime cat out of the way.
Two standing behind him and look worried about it. You're like, oh, okay, maybe we should get out of here, guys. Roll them up.
So basically, again, through more explanation, it's revealed that Shang-Chi's aunt.
Yeah.
Who confusingly is called Nan.
Yeah, Nan.
Auntie Nan is the sister of Shang-Chi's mother. So Auntie Nan does more nansplaining. So and in that,
I do like that actress.
Yeah,
I love her. It's the girl from Crouching Tiger, isn't it? Yeah, she's fantastic. You instantly recognise her. She's a very famous.
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, she's very Chinese film, but Western release almost, sort of like you'd recognise her. Yeah, she's very good. I do like her. Brilliant martial artist. And we get to see her do a bit of it as well, which is quite cool. I do like that.
And then we have a bit of like after the explanation, kind of final exposition dump. We go into the training montage, which I didn't think we were going to get one of those, but we did.
We got a training montage,
right where the sweet spot where it should be. Maybe I've just like let my guard down. Maybe I've just been I've been treated to many an action film where we don't have to have a training montage from. Going from a little bit good to a little bit better in a short amount of time.
Except in this case, Katie gets better. The other two just train.
Yeah,
they don't get better. They just
train.
Focus their training kind of thing. He learns a little bit of his mum's sort of style, doesn't he? Which he's sort of learned, but then didn't learn.
Yeah.
But it was like why is this montage happening?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No one got any better.
No. Except for
Katie.
Where she's just continued on her path of learning something extremely quickly.
This is the bit where you find out, because she's talking to Auntie Nan, and just says,
Confusing.
and basically does that throwaway line, like, I've just always been really good at picking up. Literally, might as well. I can't remember the exact words, but it's along the lines of, I just pick things up really well, try different things, and then as soon as I get good at it, drop it. And you're like, I know people like, no, absolutely, that is a thing. There are people like you, but
Yeah, but
no one picks archery up in 2 days.
yeah, no, it wasn't even that. Like, the archery was like,
What is the gap?
no, I think it's like a day.
A day, Jesus.
So she gets so good at archery, you'll find out later why.
Yeah.
In 1 day, and
One
we're
day.
gonna get right to that.
Like,
when that
really
when
good.
that happens.
And just I get it. The idea is it's heavily Chinese culturally influenced. We don't need, if you're going to give me a proverb, blow my mind. Don't give me such a lame proverb so basically she tells her she's quite good at things, never really sticks to it. Auntie Nan takes her along to the archery and goes, let her fire the bow. And she's like, I've never thrown by one of these, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you can't have direction if you're not aiming at something or something like that. Or
Yeah, that is fucking lame.
and I'm just like, I get it, Chinese proverb. Yeah, that's cool.
You'll,
like,
you'll
wisdom,
never
you're
hit
sharing wisdom.
anything if you do not have a target to aim at.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, no. To be honest, I'm welcoming. I welcome a proverb. Absolutely, some wisdom, the words of wisdom for it. I would absolutely jump for that. But blow my mind. Literally, give me something where I go.
That's right.
Like
Or
full
just
on,
something like
full on.
right.
Keanu Reeves, Ted. Whoa, moment.
Yeah.
And in this, I was just like,
That was Neo, by the way. Next podcast is The Matrix. Good,
Like,
nice tie-in there.
This
Sam.
is very good. I'm not in it, but I am so excited about it. So excited. Anyway, just a little sort of ad there. But yeah, so yeah, she gets good at archery. The other two train. You see a brief bit where she shows, the Auntie Nan shows Shang-Chi how to fight the way his mother did, because he knows from her stories that she's the only one who ever beat his dad while he's wearing the 10 rings. And they have her, and she kind of like, the difference. It's a bit light side, dark side fighting style. Instead of strong and aggressive and clenched fist that he's been trained, it's open your hands, defensive, maneuvering, using their power against him. Again, leads to some brilliant. The scene between her and him is brilliant as well. I love that kind of like, it's like a dance more than it is a fight. I do like that. But yeah, that montage thing. Dad gets. We don't even really see Dad go through the forest, do they? Skip that bit. They put this whole thing about the path. Just skip it. Just cut it out. Wasn't worth it.
So they have to go through
now.
Yeah, they have to go through the trial of like almost getting killed multiple times by this forest that moves, the maze that it doesn't allow everyone to get in.
Stay in the pocket.
And then literally he's just like, what do you get? Fucking airlifted in or something?
Well, the idea is he's followed this path that's opened up to him, but I kind of want to
It's not open. It's not open. It closes behind itself. That's the point of the maze.
Yeah, and he has to go in. He's been shown a way to go in. It's different to what they went through.
Yeah.
It's like it's opened up, but they just don't. They show you the map. They show you the route from the map, and then don't show you the scene where he goes through.
Oh,
and you're like, he's just here now. He's like, oh, okay.
Right, okay, yeah. What was the whole point of that chase? And getting through. Oh, there was no point.
I know the idea is the 10 rings, thousands of years old, and the people in it aren't thousands of years old, but they're the thousands of years old. And
I think they're
the elite.
Aren't
the elite. I don't think they're immortal. No, it's just the 10 rings that are immortal.
But the village and the realm itself has powers.
No, sorry, Te Lao. Yeah. I'm talking about the 10 rings.
Oh, okay.
10 rings are just. I'm guessing he rehires and over the years of that. So they are just very elite of human people.
Yeah.
And they go up against almost the same amount of a village. So they're not a village. They are I don't know what to call them, but they're an army.
Yeah.
But they're an army against a village. There's always more in a village, generally.
Right.
It's a little village, I get that. But they're a village full of people that are about, if they say 4,000 years old?
Yeah.
because he's 7. 4,000 years old. They are 4,000 years old,
Yeah.
and they do far too well. I feel the village doesn't do as well as they should. Like when the battle, I feel like should have been a lot more one-sided.
Oh, I don't think the people in the village, I don't think, are that old. Because the Mandarin says to the old man,
Yeah,
I've lived 10 of your lifetimes.
very true.
So
So
the
they
people,
are,
so I think the world, the village, is 4,000 years old, not the people.
Okay.
The village that's keeping the big bad wolf soul sucker thing
Yeah,
at bay behind a giant dragon scale door.
that's it. Yeah, they've got dragon scale armed as well.
Yeah,
They're
because
armed with
they've
dragon scale.
definitely been
Protector.
to Varrock and they've played RuneScape. So
Yeah,
they've got all the
everyone
dragon
knows,
armor.
Everyone knows dragon armor.
Dragon armor's the best.
Skyrim's dragon armor. Always about dragon armor. Also, so and then by this point we've been sort of a couple of times mentioned the protector, and we know it's this dragon. We actually see a statue of the dragon, so we sort of see the dragon before we see the dragon. But no signs of it. Who doesn't even turn out to be Fin Fang Foom?
I don't even know if it's confirmed or not confirmed.
Yeah, I kind of just assumed the protector was Fin Fang Foom.
I took this opportunity in between to relieve myself, so I completely missed. The whole bit about him meeting the dragon.
Oh, okay. So
during the fight, he obviously gets he gets obliterated by his dad.
Yeah.
Sent into the sea.
Yeah.
Which holds the mythical creature.
Yeah, he's sinking.
And at that point, I was like, I really need to go. So, and I don't mean.
Oh, you
home,
saw that bit.
but,
Yeah, you saw that bit. Yeah, and then it cuts back.
Could have gone home.
It cuts that bit. It cuts back, and they're kind of like they've turned the tide of battle or something enough for. They're like, right, okay, we've got to stop him. They've worked out by this point that the dad is opening the gate. The fight's kind of stopped a bit. Oh no, that's it. The fight started. So the dad started hammering, like punching the gate,
Yeah, I saw
and the
that,
creatures are coming out.
Yeah.
At
this point, he doesn't think to himself, maybe I'm not doing the right thing.
Because these soul creatures, why haven't they? Are they in there with my wife? Like,
Definitely not.
But yeah, with it between this, Shang-Chi is sunk, and then suddenly you see this dragon come up and that sort of thing. Not real conversation or anything there. It's just literally I thought there was going to be the trailer kind of looked like I assumed it was Fin Fang Foom, but it's just a protector. It's just called the protector. At this point, because the soul creatures are coming over, the sister and Katie have joined forces with the Ten Ring because they realise they're going to have to work together now because these creatures are just going to kill all of them.
Typical film where it's just like, right, what are we going to do? Well, the bad guys and the good guys, they've got to team up against the even badder.
The bigger
I'm like,
bad,
this is not
monsters.
Alien versus Predator, you know? Like, it was shit then. Like, that premise. That was 2004. It's 2021. That premise doesn't get any better.
Yeah, it was just... and then they got, where's Shang? Or where's Sean? Or is she calling him Sean? Or because there's a whole bit on the plane where she's trying to say his real name, and it basically does sound like Sean. So I can't tell throughout the rest of the movie she's calling him Sean because of her American accent. I can't tell if she's saying Sean or Sean. But yeah, so they're like, where's your brother? And then that's where it's kind of like they all go to the bank of the river where these creatures are about to fly over. They've all got the arrows arched and cocked, and then just suddenly it's like dragon comes out and like starts fighting and eating these creatures.
Okay,
and
I'm all caught up now.
And that's
Sounds
when
shit.
the CGI
Pops off.
really starts to go
Bad way.
The fuck, yeah. What the fuck? That's the best, yeah. And it's just chaotic from there. It's going to sound like I'm glossing over and skipping a good 10-20 minutes of movie, but that's what happens. They fight these creatures for a little bit, and the dragon's going back and forth, and
Drags
again,
on far too long.
and again, this thing that's the protector just intelligent. No, just a monster, just represented
It's a
as
giant
a monster.
bat with tentacles. Which
No, I
is
was talking about the dragon. Even the
Oh.
dragon is supposed to is the protector.
Yeah.
It's the reason the village is there,
yeah,
and it's
dragon.
just a dragon. Just doesn't seem to have much intelligence to it. Just fights, and then the big creature breaks. Oh no, sorry. Then it cuts to Shang-Chi and his dad. Shang-Chi he finally gets off the dragon as the fight with his dad, where he's now fighting like his mum. Using his mum's technique, but with a mixture of his dad, because the message of the story isn't be good, it's use your darkness and your light, and it's kind of like, that's fine, that's cool, okay, that's cool.
I liked what I did
No.
during the fight was him interacting with the rings.
Yes.
So as he's being attacked more by his dad, as he's countering his dad's moves, the rings are. He's losing. The Mandarin is losing multiple rings after each counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
The color, they're gold when they're with Shang-Chi, because
Again, the choreographing of two people fighting. Although the one nitpick that we did talk about before was you don't know the power of the rings.
Yeah.
So you don't know like specifically what they can and can't do. They just again MacGuffin gloves where it's just like they can do lots of things, just don't think about it.
They're a bit Ronin's hammer once he puts the power thing in it. Or Ronin's hammer, where he just seems to turn it and it's just got power.
Oh, well, when it's got the power stone in it.
No, even before, when he breaks the guy's whenever he's speaking to Thanos and he twists it and it kills that guy who's like Thanos' like mouthpiece.
Okay, yeah.
It's just like a poof,
I can do loads of things.
Yeah, it's just like okay.
I mean, we were talking about this on the way home, and they obviously went for rings, as in giant wrist ringlets, rather than actual finger rings.
The originals were finger rings, but the original finger rings, as you quite correctly pointed out, they in the Marvel comics, they've each got their own thing and they're all like a different type. It's just too close to home with the Power Stones or the Infinity Stones. So that was probably actually quite a good creative choice.
I like it.
And I liked it.
I think
liked the arm
good.
ring. Yeah, I did like that.
I'd rather that than like when you...
It led to some good fight moments as well.
Because when you're thinking of like... Imagine if you were just like, he's this guy's got 10 fucking rings on his fingers. You'd be like, right? Right, okay. It's like, and they're powerful. Right, so they're like brass knucks, are they? They're just just knock them out with it. No, that each one's got power. Each one of those tiny rings got power, and they're not Infinity Stones. Like that doesn't make any sense. But for them to be actual, like
the way they were represented them as well, it fitted better because they were able to come off. They were able to build a barrier. You were able to move them. It fitted in well with the way they were fighting as well. Like the way they would come off and join. Exactly, it tied in very nicely with it. So I agreed with. I did like that. I actually quite like that representation, and him taking over him even has a kind of Kamehameha moment, which they say later on, and I was so happy.
I don't know what that means.
It's a Dragon Ball Z reference. It's fantastic, but it was again a one-on-one fight. Very good, another very good one-on-one fight, and there's that moment where his dad seems to beat him. He's got 5. His dad's got 5. Blue versus yellow, gold kind of thing. His dad seems to.
It's very Sub-Zero versus Scorpion.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, except the reverse of colours in the good and evil. And his dad hits him against the door. Seems like the cliff or something comes down on top of him, and then suddenly the rings don't come back. The dad's not got the rings at all anymore. You can kind of work that by that point, and Shang-Chi's just got all 10 of them floating around him, so he's completely taken over him. Cool moment. It's quite a cool moment, and it is the way he beats him, where brings them all together into a ball and fires. It's I did enjoy that. And then that's when the dad hears the mum's voice again. He's sort of kind of getting through to his dad, and then he hears his mum's voice again, and pointlessly. They do the whole why is if this creature's manipulating him? Why did he give the mum's voice as he breaks out and starts screeching like a bat and never speaks again?
Genuinely,
it was so weird,
baffling. Absolutely,
he didn't let him out. He wasn't doing it to get him let out. He was like, "I'm here, my love."
It's nonsensical bullshit.
Yeah.
I can't get over the fact that this got. I'm coming a little bit full circle because we're kind of coming to the end of the film.
Yeah.
But just like, I feel like I need to be sitting next to these reviewers, and I have to look at them dead in the face. I'm like, you gave this an 8 out of 10? Are you sure it's not out of 20? You sure it's not out of 20? Because, I mean...
Is there a new rating system that I'm not aware of?
And someone just made it out of 34 for some reason?
Did someone make the 11 joke too much that they needed to top the 11?
Is this Spinal Tap where you've gone to, it's out of 11 instead? I mean, this new 34 system I've been hearing so much about, it all just doesn't make sense to me. Just 8 out of 10, and it just kept going around in my brain. I should stop maybe reading terrible review sites, but
terrible review sites.
In my head, that was all that was going through my head when this stuff was happening. When there was the bad CGI, when there was like the mum's voice of this giant bat thing that comes out, and then it's just a feral creature. How is it so intelligent that it can travel through dimensions, and it's also all it wants to do is suck people's souls. We haven't even got to the bit where I'm just like sucking out someone's soul is just like one of the worst things that could have happened to this movie. Like their primary drive, these creatures, is just to suck people's life essence
and then feed the bigger creature with the souls. But even the design of the bigger creature, so and also these sites that you're looking
not
at,
even a great
what you're saying about the in your defense, these sites that you are going to that are awful are the main sites. IGN, like it's the go-tos who you go to Rotten Tomatoes. They're like the ones we're supposed to trust.
I mean, there's no one you can trust but us. So you just need to remember that.
Only trust us. Come back to us, guys.
It's just,
and even the design of the creature. It's like okay. So we need this big, horrific. We've got a beautiful, majestic Chinese dragon. What's the counterpart to that? Okay, something like a bat. Okay, yeah, bats are kind of like we could make that look quite grotesque. Yeah, but he's got like tentacles, like a octopus, because tentacles are always like creepy and like and he's got tentacles. And a mouth like Predator. Yeah, okay, everything that and he eats souls and like Dave what? Yeah, and like but yeah, so
God, that was
and it was just
when they said it literally eats souls. That because its little minion ones eat souls as well.
The minions ones eat souls, carry it over, and feed the big ones.
Yeah, but the big one can feed souls as well.
Yeah, and he can do it himself.
Because when you think that this movie has gone too far, it literally comes out of the portal, out of the gate, out of the hole in the wall, and it literally... The first thing it does is picks up Shang-Chi's dad. He picks up the Mandarin... And you're supposed to have this, like, poignant moment where he kind of gives him the rings, kind of understands that he's done wrong.
He pushed him out of the way, like...
But also, he's 1,000 years old and has killed, like, hundreds of thousands of people.
He's not a good guy.
So, yeah, it just... The first thing it does is picks up this fucking guy and takes his soul. And honestly, it goes into slow motion, and it's cringe. It's not good.
No.
And you're just like, I know what you're doing. You're trying to force this emotional moment on us when I'm just like, good. Like, the 10 rings are going to go to someone good, and this guy who's a megalomaniac is dead. Like, am I supposed to be like, no, come back?
He never got to know his dad.
Oh, no, he never got to play catch with the fucking murderer. And we haven't...
Honestly, what did the mum see in him? I feel like we should question the mum a little bit. She was supposed to be this wholesome, wonderful, beautiful creature, but she kind of went for this guy that she knows who he is. And like... I don't know. I feel like there's an element. There's a podcast here where we go back and just question this mum. Maybe she wasn't that great. Maybe you weren't that great.
Maybe she was the mad Mandarin.
Maybe
all along.
I don't know. Or like, it was very questionable decisions there.
God, like, and I know we say this a lot, like, this is our go-to line, but I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like, everyone else is okay with, like, not everyone else, obviously, not us, but, like, you know, like, outside the bubble, like, everyone's thinking that this is a touching moment. Everyone's thinking that this is a good decision. Everyone's thinking that this character's a redeemable person. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Full
Like, no,
Mendoza.
it's just no. And there was
Mugatuzo.
there was a shot after this where it's in between the very end. It's where Shang-Chi, his sister, the Guardian are all taking on the super soul sucker thing. They don't really give it a name.
To call it.
They literally just call it the soul sucker.
Yeah, don't know what to call it.
And
They even make a joke about it afterwards. But
I had to look away because the CGI was so bad.
Awful.
Like, it was like, you know, like shaky cam mixed with like lots of CGI mixed with like a bit of a really quick tracking shot. And I just had to look away. I was just like, my eyes just don't know what to do with this. And the only time that's probably ever happened to me before is, I think, like Transformers. I think it's like Dark of the Moon. Is it Dark of the Moon? Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Where one of the action shots in that, where it's just Transformer versus Transformer, where it just gets clusterfucky.
Yeah. And
I had to look away. That it doesn't happen often, but it happened again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, this is not what I not thought was going to happen.
Because by this point we're very aware that this is definitely.
But this is just like, I'm out.
And then it's what is it? So he's got it by the neck. Oh, if he absorbs the soul of the dragon, then he'll be far too powerful for us to stop. You're like, I feel like that dragon shouldn't have even been in this fight. If that's the case.
Yeah.
And if he is, the dragon was doing really well. He's missed a fucking mark here. Like, he fucked up. That dragon fucked up.
Yeah.
Definitely
he saved us, but maybe he shouldn't put himself in harm's way.
Yeah, like if your very existence in that fight and losing it is the cost of the universe and others,
relies on a dragon.
I know you might want to fight and defend those you love, but you're best not. Just stay out of the fight.
See what we can do.
Fuck off and let the others fight. But yeah,
no, it's at that point, I just wanted it to end.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to finish. And, you know, eventually it did, by Shang-Chi riding the dragon. That's not a euphemism. Just, and he's got the control of the 10 rings. I think he puts them inside. He
shoots them into. There's a. Oh, sorry.
We forgot a very important bit. Sorry.
The callback. Why the montage happened, I guess. The creature is eating the dragon. It's very much going to win, and it's like, and then suddenly a dragon scale arrow shoots through its throat.
And obviously it was Katie.
Katie done it. It's a great shot, blah blah, and then it stops and gets a bit flustered. The dragon's able to regather itself. Shang-Chi and his sister kind of like go, okay, let's do this.
Yep.
And then they go up and he fires the 10 rings into him. Actually really quite liked that scene as its own little pocket where he fires the rings in and he's doing the martial arts in the air as he falls. Loves that.
It makes
really
sense because, like, if you want to kill it, you'd put the 10 rings inside and you basically do an Ant-Man Thanos theory, but instead of doing the rude stuff by going up the butthole, you literally just go down the throat, put the rings in, and just start
scrambling his inside.
Start scrambling his inside.
That's exactly what he was doing. He was doing all this beautiful martial arts, but the reality was he was just making the 10 rings go absolutely frantic inside this thing,
and just mixing it up from the inside,
and then just pulls them out or something like that, and it just obviously that kills it.
That was brutal.
That was pretty brutal.
Kind of cool.
I did like that.
In a scene that I was just ready for the end of the movie. And
it does kind of wrap up quite quickly after that.
Yeah. One thing we didn't touch upon, which we should say before getting to the very end, is the fact that they do go to a scene back when Shang-Chi was little about his mother dying. Now, I feel like I've left it till last because it's a little bit of something to unpack because Shang-Chi at this point is 7 years of age.
7 years.
And his dad has obviously given up wearing the 10 rings and is...
Good man.
He's a good man and he's out getting...
Groceries?
Fucking groceries or something, I don't know. Like, because he comes back and he's doing that thing where he's got, like, his jacket over his shoulder and he's, like, got it with, like, one finger.
He's got the polo collar on because good
polo
men wear
collar.
polo collars.
Yep. He's got the cool, calm, collected dad look going down. But he was away for some reason, away from the compound, and the people who he's wronged in the past.
Of which they don't have to say how. It's just some sort of... It's generic.
They're just Yakuza.
Yeah, some sort of Yakuza. Yeah.
They found out where he lives, and instead of killing...
Triad.
Oh, yeah, triads.
It's Chinese.
But, so instead of killing, waiting, or, going after the Mandarin himself...
Which is insane in itself.
I
know they turn up with a lot of men, but this guy has literally toppled empires. He would have definitely toppled your empire. That's why you're mad.
Yeah.
Why would you go to his compound where
Makes
he
no
lives
sense.
unless they knew he wasn't there?
I know he's kind of dismantled the 10 rings.
I mean,
like
he's just put them away.
That's why there isn't guards, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh, I see the actual. Sorry, not the
for
10 rings.
the
10 rings.
Yeah.
That's the thing as well. Why did he call?
Called the 10.
It's just.
Let's no. You've called
Because I thought it was going to be a twist, and it's like you inherit the 10 rings and you inherit the army, but no, it's just for some reason they've got the same name.
Yeah. So these men show up.
Yeah.
And they are here for the Mandarin, but he's not there.
Yeah.
Little Shang-Chi is there, and his mother. Don't know about his daughter though.
The daughter's there because they're both.
Oh yeah, well of course they are.
She takes them off. He sends her off with.
So early on in the film, you do get told that the mother is dead, and it's pretty pretty obvious that like she's not alive.
Yeah,
and the Mandarin is mad. But when you get to see, well, you don't get to see her die, but it's implied that she dies. This happens when just before this battle at the end of the film starts happening, we have this last flashback.
Yeah.
When he's telling Katie about his mum's death.
Something like that,
by the river or whatever. And, and it just, these men, there's a couple of men to begin with, and then, like, more men. Like, you'd see them if they're off screen, but you'd see them if you were there. They just like more like and I'm sorry, fold out, and you're just like, oh, okay.
I know the idea is when she comes away from Tal, she's lost her powers and whatever.
But she can still fight.
I'm sorry, I did not believe that amount of men would beat her.
That amount of men would not beat her. Second point, if she's dead, pretty sure she'd have some injuries.
They'd have landed some blows. They would have had to done something.
They would have at least made her like quite bloody. I'm not talking like,
or even just her position on the floor would have been a bit more, less Snow White in her. Yeah. It's literally Snow White in her crystal chest.
She's just lying there. She's just like, I'm succumbing to my injuries,
unmarked,
and it's just you say unmarked. She's marked like a Marvel superhero's marks.
Oh, I didn't.
They go through huge trauma and they have like the tiny scar.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
We're talking
see
Black
that.
Widow. Yeah. She probably had one of those, but we just didn't notice.
Yeah,
I've been in like a horrific car crash and which would bust a skull.
Got, like a smile on her face. Yeah, like that kind of like peaceful. She looks peaceful.
Just been beaten up by like 25
odd
guys.
Men or something, probably, and it was like it would not have been like fancy punch. They would have been like using knives and stuff, modern shit, modern shit.
Yeah,
modern beat 'em up.
Yeah. So, that whole scene had me just like, I'm out.
And the most, and I said this to you, the most frustrating part of it is if you're gonna give me that scene, I want to see her fighting.
And they didn't even show
her fighting.
She didn't even go out valiantly. She just. One scene, she's like, I must protect my children. And then there's like 20 other guys. And then it just cuts.
Him reacting.
They're gone. Why are they gone? Like, they're in this compound. Like, they'd be like looting, wouldn't they?
or
taking shit.
or have some level of guard. No,
No, it's just terrible.
it was just
Made no sense.
Oh, it's just
And that was it. That's right just before it's in the third act, but it's right before the final fight. And I'm just like, I've got nothing left.
I was so disappointed.
Yeah, it was
Cena had that great fight scene with the dad at the beginning where that was more like a dance.
Yeah.
I wanted to see her kick some fucking ass.
Yeah, I want to see her.
I want to really see
trying
her
to take on these guys.
Yeah, and
show us how she's
maybe
over.
she's going to do it, but she's not going to. And someone catches her, and it's like a real kind of shenanigans win.
Yeah.
Or anything. No, none of that. No, we just don't see it, and they overwhelmed her, and she dies like Snow White. Yeah, that was a thing. But
yeah. And so we come to the end of the film where Shang-Chi and Katie, or is it? Yes, Katie. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Katie are
relaying the story,
doing a callback where they are telling their friend about not how they met, but how they are.
What they've done, what they've been up to since.
What they've been up to since, because the friend has a go at them for just being valets, quote unquote, just being valets.
Yeah.
And, obviously she doesn't believe them. She's just like, why are you taking the piss out of me?
I did kind of enjoy that scene because of what with that, I feel they achieved with me what they were going to achieve. And it's like, how are they going to go back and explain this? And they literally just go, well, they just go back and explain it, and it's ridiculous. And I was kind of like, okay, okay, that's cool, that's fine. But
at that point, you're just like, can this long film end?
The bar was so low,
and and then we.
And then one right as the friend's not believing, and we're like, oh, I see it. You're like making fun of me because I had a go at you last time. However, you just see the portal, the famous, the now what we know as the Doctor Strange ring portal,
sling ring portal.
Sorry, appears. Wong steps out, not Strange. Okay, no, that's fine because Wong absolutely. The idea of Doctor Strange doing a lot. It would in some ways actually. Now that I say that, it would have been weird if it was Strange.
Yeah,
it would literally. Of course, he would send Wong. Wong steps out, invites, addresses who is basically asking for Shang-Chi. He comes through him and Kate, them and Katie are kind of like, oh, we're gonna go with the magic guy now, and they're kind of like, oh shit, and that kind of moment, and they step through. They have this whole thing with Wong, and he's like going over what they don't know what the 10 rings are.
Yeah. Well, this is in a post credits, so they cut.
No, that's not even. Is that post credits?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the first post credits.
Oh, okay.
So that's it. It cuts from there. It's just that's the end. It literally, when the portal closes, it cuts. And you're just like, right, okay, bit of a dud ending, it's like kind of like they get back to their real life, but I'm just like, that's the end, of this really long film, it's just, and then, that leads into the first post-credit scene. There are two.
Which is one of the best scenes of the film.
It's literally one of the best scenes of the film.
I know it was the I think it was one part of the film I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because
they don't know what the rings are.
Yeah.
Some activated beacon was activated, but we don't know what that is. It's like, okay, and that happened only when Shang-Chi, obviously the dads had them for years. They didn't activate them, only activated with Shang-Chi. Oh, okay, so something's happening now.
Intrigue.
Wong does the whole thing about you guys, your life, the trajectory of your life has changed forever. It's never going to be the same again. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Go home.
Well, we better say that Mark Ruffalo and Brie Larson are in this.
Mark Ruffalo,
to
Bruce
normal
Banner,
Bruce Banner, yeah.
But with a broken arm. Is that supposed to give us an idea of when this was set?
Yeah, so it's obviously after Endgame.
No, I know obviously but I assumed it's been a while since Endgame now. But
maybe.
Are these movies all supposed to be happening within the same year? Or even all of it seems to be happening within the same year?
Again, intrigue. See, I'm interested in this because,
why is he not Hulk?
Yep.
Or
and then you're like, why is the beacon going now that Shang-Chi has the 10 rings rather than the Mandarin, XYZ? Brie Larson is in it.
Captain Marvel's as useful as she always is.
She literally just goes away.
Useless.
She literally just goes away.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo's like, she always does that.
I'm
just like, great. Didn't even need her. Just have the Hulk there.
Yeah, just have him there.
or just either
Or just
one or the
Ruffalo,
other.
just Ruffalo. Yeah, I don't know why they were both there. She doesn't say anything. She has no contribution to the conversation whatsoever. Yeah, sorry, so he's there, but they're in that blue, they're Marvel blue glowy. Yeah, the holographic kind of like communication thing, but it's very much the blue glowy thing. Anyway, then Wong has this whole thing like trajectory of your life, blah 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 blah. No more of Abomination, which is a little thing of intrigue. I would love there to be this whole little side thing, and it's not even touching. It's only if you're paying attention. Where like the idea is, since Wong's met Strange, he's just been on this kind of like, I don't want to say downward path, but has suddenly
on like a weird adventure.
He's started to like, he's not a straight straight good sturdy librarian, looks after everything and that's it, doesn't waver from it. He's like, because he's a bit more quirky in Infinity War, and they're like, we like the ice cream thing, so he's now just maybe he's going out and eating ice cream and shit, and it's just kind of slowly led to him meeting Abomination. They've set up a con. I would love if it was like you can watch, even if they do jump backs and things like that, there's like this little side story of like Wong and his slow deterioration into like a less moral man. I kind of like that. I'm going to welcome that.
But yeah, that was the post-credit scene was actually a decent one. Like, see, I didn't really like the one from Black Widow. I didn't think it was great.
Madam Hydra.
Didn't think it was great.
No, it wasn't that great.
So, this was a decent one. And then they did a second one, which made even less sense.
My God. Absolute garbage.
So we had it is a callback because it's shot exactly the same as the initial shot when the Mandarin takes over his first, I guess, kingdom.
Yeah.
In the initial montage at the beginning of the movie.
And they must tell us the name of the 10 rings.
Yeah, and the camera tracks back all the way from his throne, all the way out of the courtyard, and you see people training. So you've got Shang-Chi's sister who's just reminiscing in her old room, like taking her posters down from her old room and stuff, and then she just is like, all right, let's get to work, and she like sits on the throne exactly like her dad. Camera tracks out exactly like the previous shot from the beginning of the film, and she's just put graffiti everywhere.
Yeah, and she's
so she's the leader of the 10 Rings now.
We don't know if she's good, we don't know if she's bad, we don't care because she has no character.
Doesn't have any character, and also they did this in spoilers. Captain Falcon. I said Captain America. It is Captain America, but it's Falcon and Winter Soldier with Agent 13.
Yeah,
they did the same thing where it's like, she's kind of good, but now, she's a bad guy now. It's the fake out, and I was just like, don't do it twice in 1 year. That's not good storytelling.
Well, we don't even know she's a bad guy. We just know she's the head of the 10 Rings. The point is, we don't care because we have no attachment to her whatsoever.
No,
and there's no.
It's really cringy. Like she's. She has
graffiti, some beautiful Chinese art as well. It's just really frustrating.
You're just like, does that make you hard now?
Like, well
done.
Know what
I mean? Like,
well done for you. You to really show it to your dad. You just abolished some centuries old culture. Fantastic.
Yeah, you're not hard. You're Bart Simpson.
You fucking.
So
Jesus,
and that's how you close out.
Close
out that film.
Just. So
I'm going to bring back by request that we do ratings.
Yeah.
So we're gonna crack on with having ratings each time.
So
this one we'll do it out of
10 Rings.
No.
No.
We're going to do it out of 5. No, because that's good. Like that makes sense. Like, usually ours just are nonsensical shit.
That's very true.
So
fuck those 10 Rings.
Yeah. So let's go for. It's going to be out of 5 bloodied face dragons. Because during the end fight,
the dragon is the only one that.
The dragon is the only one who takes any moderate damage, and he looks like his face is covered in blood from being attacked by some soul suckers. So the rating this week is going to be out of 5 bloodied face dragons.
Okay.
Sam, what are you going for?
Just because of the initial reaction, sitting through a Marvel movie of all things, going, do I like this? There's absolute elements I like. I can't give it more than a 3.
Oh,
I want to like it, but
Yeah.
I can't give it more than a 3. 3 out of 2.5. 2.5.
I feel like even 2.5 is being maybe
I feel
too
like,
generous.
Yeah.
And
Getting
as
half out of me, they more than deserve.
as time is going on, and now we've talked about it for quite a while, and then obviously coming back from the cinema, I'm actually going to give it 2. I was going to give it 1.5, but again, there were some action, and then like the characters, like I want to see more of, like Shang-Chi and
He was
Katie.
brilliant. That's the thing as well. A bit like we said with Black Widow. Sorry, just to go, I know we're doing the thing. You cannot fault him.
Yeah, no,
Actor was great.
Yeah.
He is great. I want to see more of him. He was brilliant. Katie was good too. So you cannot fault him. It is not him. It is the storytelling. It is not the character. But yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. So yep, gonna go.
I think he's the one scoring that extra half for me.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. He's keeping it
He's
from
earned
being
the extra half.
the choreography in the earlier fights or the one-on-one fights.
Yeah.
And the character of Shang-Chi, I want to see him interacting with other heroes as well at some point.
Yeah.
That mixed with a few other things is keeping it just at 2 out of 5. 2 bloody face dragons out of 5.
Shang-Chi, that's a movie that happened. We need to go away now, process this, probably rest on it a bit. You've got your Matrix one coming up in a couple of days, so you probably want to get ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
Just so probably best to call it for tonight.
Yeah.
Or
Welcome to the Hotel